The smell hits Philip first. Something warm and human in a house that hasn't smelled like anything but antiseptic for 3 years. Borscht. He didn't know the word then. Staring at his security monitor at 11:43 p.m., watching a skeletal girl in a cleaning uniform eat a piece of discarded Wagyu beef over his kitchen trash can. Her hands shook. She chewed slowly, eyes closed, like she was praying. He fired her 16 minutes later. In the Beverly Hills estate where Philip Aldridge built his fortress of food and isolation, hunger wore many faces. His own 600-pound body, a monument to consumption he couldn't stop. His 8-year-old son, Silas, wasting away in a medical wing, surrounded by every treatment money could buy and none of the connection he needed. And Anya, 19, undocumented, eating garbage because she sent every dollar to a family trapped in a war zone. That night, Silas collapsed in a service hallway, feverish, terrified, unreachable by the medical team that monitored his every vital sign but couldn't calm the panic that made his autoimmune condition flare. He fell into the arms of the girl his father had just destroyed. She didn't call for help immediately. She sat on the floor and held him, hummed a lullaby in a language he didn't understand, stayed. When Philip found them, his son was breathing normally for the first time in months. Stay with us to discover how 3 people, starving in different ways, learned that the opposite of hunger isn't fullness. It's sharing the table. This is the story of how the worst night of their lives became the first night of their healing. The smell of $40,000 worth of food fills the Beverly Hills estate, but Philip Aldridge eats alone. From his reinforced executive chair, custom built to support 600 pounds, he surveys the security feeds on his wall of monitors. 12 screens show empty rooms in perfect order, the ballroom where his board just celebrated Q3 profits, the catering staging area where staff now packages leftovers for disposal, the medical wing where his son exists behind a closed door. Philip lifts another forkful of Wagyu to his mouth, chews, swallows, reaches for the next bite. 3 years ago, his wife Elena died weighing 79 pounds. Now, Philip weighs almost 8 times that. The symmetry isn't lost on him. He built Cravia Technologies by understanding the neurology of appetite, the behavioral psychology of consumption, the precise formulation that makes people unable to stop eating. His genius was reverse engineering human desire. The irony tastes like ash, but he keeps chewing. On monitor 7, a figure moves through the service corridor, the new night maid, skeletal in her uniform. She's worked here 6 weeks. He doesn't know her name. He's made it a policy not to learn the names of anyone who might leave. His intercom buzzes. "Mr. Aldridge, the catering director needs authorization for disposal." "Approved." His voice is flat. "Standard. Protocol. Nothing leaves the property. Standard protocol, established 3 years ago. After Elena died, he'd discovered she'd been sneaking food to hide it, dispose of it, maintain the illusion of eating. The surveillance had failed. His control had failed. She'd slipped through his fingers like water. Now, nothing slips through. Every calorie tracked, every meal documented, every piece of discarded food incinerated rather than donated, because he can't bear the thought of his waste feeding someone else's hunger while Elena starved in his own house. He switches to monitor 4, his son's medical suite. Silas should be asleep, but the bed is empty. Philip's heart rate spikes, a brief flutter of panic before the night nurse enters the frame, checking equipment. The boy is probably in the bathroom. Everything is fine. Everything is controlled. Philip returns his attention to his food. Eating has become a meditation, a punishment, a fortress. Each bite adds another brick to the wall between him and the world. Each pound insulates him from the vulnerability that destroyed Elena. His phone chimes, production reports from the lab. Cravia's newest formula, a snack engineered to trigger dopamine release equivalent to slot machine wins. The science is elegant. The ethics are irrelevant. People want to feel something, and he's built an empire giving them synthetic satisfaction. He's in the business of manufacturing hunger, of creating appetites that can never be satisfied. The monitors glow in the darkness of his office. 12 screens, 12 empty rooms. The house operates with clinical precision, staff rotating like clockwork, meals delivered on schedule, his son maintained in his separate wing, communication via intercom, connection at arm's length. Philip finishes the last bite of beef, pushes the plate away, and immediately reaches for the dessert cart. Chocolate torte, 4 inches tall, dense enough to anchor a ship. He cuts into it with surgical precision. On monitor 7, the skeletal maid has reached the catering area. She's moving slowly, efficiently, her body language suggesting exhaustion. She pauses near the disposal containers, looking at the mountains of discarded food. Philip watches her without real interest. Just another invisible person in his invisible house, navigating the spaces between his isolation. He takes another bite of chocolate. Rich, perfect, utterly meaningless. The empire of empty stretches around him, rooms full of everything, feeding nothing that matters. Anya Kovalenko hasn't eaten in 2 days. The math is simple. Her wage minus rent minus the maximum she can send to Lviv equals $14 weekly for food. This week she'd sent extra. Her mother's message mentioned her brother Dimitro needed shoes, winter coming, the shelter getting colder. So Anya had chosen shoes for a 12-year-old boy or meals for herself. Not really a choice at all. Now, at 11:18 p.m., cleaning the catering staging area, she faces mountains of discarded luxury. Wagyu beef barely touched, caviar, spoonfuls left in crystal dishes, desserts that cost more than her weekly food budget, destined for disposal. Her hands shake as she wipes down the counter. She'd been a literature student once in Kiev, before the war, before her father joined the territorial defense and never came home, before she fled with nothing but a student visa and the clothes she wore, before her distant relatives in Los Angeles exploited her labor for 6 months, then abandoned her when the money ran out. Now she's 19, undocumented, and so hungry she can taste copper. The disposal protocol is clear. All food waste goes into locked containers for incineration. Nothing leaves the property. She's heard the other staff whisper about it. Mr. Aldridge's paranoia, something about his dead wife, rules that make no sense but must be followed absolutely. Anya picks up a piece of beef with the tongs, guides it toward the disposal container, stops. Her grandmother's voice in her head, "Ditina, waste is a sin when people starve." She looks around. The cameras watch from corners, unblinking eyes. But she's worked here 6 weeks, cleaned these rooms countless times. She knows Mr. Aldridge seals himself in his office after his board dinners. She knows the night supervisor has already gone home. She knows the security team monitors the perimeter, not the service areas. She knows hunger makes people take impossible risks. Anya sets down the tongs, picks up the beef with her fingers, stands over the trash can. If anyone sees, she can say she was disposing of it. Her heart hammers against her ribs. She takes a bite. The taste explodes across her tongue, rich, buttery, perfectly seasoned. She closes her eyes, chews slowly, trying to make it last. When was the last time she ate meat? 2 months? 3? She takes another bite, then another, standing over the garbage, eating discarded luxury like a sacrament. Behind her, a voice cuts through the silence like a blade. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Anya spins around, the beef falling from her hands. Philip Aldridge fills the doorway. She's never seen him up close before. He's always been a distant figure on the upper floors, a voice on the intercom. Now he's here, massive and terrible, his face contorted with rage. Her English fails her. Ukrainian and Russian tangle in her throat. "You're stealing!" He moves toward her, each step deliberate. His breathing is labored from the journey through his own house, but his fury is sharp. "From me. In my house. I'm sorry, Do you know what that food cost?" His voice rises. "Do you have any concept of..." He stops, studies her more carefully. "You're the new maid, 6 weeks." She nods, mute with terror. "And you thought you'd help yourself to my disposal?" Something ugly twists across his face. "Let me guess, you're hungry, times are hard, you needed it more than the incinerator." The cruel accuracy of it steals her breath. "I have zero tolerance for theft." Philip's voice drops to something colder than shouting. "Zero, you're fired, effective immediately. I want you off my property in 15 minutes, or I call immigration. Are we clear?" Anya wants to explain about Dimitro's shoes, about the shelter, about how she wasn't stealing. Not really, just trying to survive. But the words won't come. She's learned that powerful men don't want explanations from disposable women. "Yes, sir," she whispers. "Get your things, go." He turns and walks away, leaving her standing over the trash can, the taste of stolen meat still on her tongue. Anya moves mechanically toward the service exit, toward her locker, toward the end of everything. She doesn't cry. There's no time for crying. She has 14 minutes to disappear. Anya walks the service corridors one last time, her cleaning cart abandoned by her locker. 13 minutes left before she becomes a trespasser in the only place in America that's paid her fairly. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, indifferent. Her feet know these halls better than the streets outside. 6 weeks of night shifts, invisible labor, the kind of work that disappears the moment it's completed. She's thinking about Dimitro's shoes when she hears it, a sound like a trapped animal, small, frightened. Anya stops, listens. There, from the hallway that leads toward the medical wing, a gasping, irregular breath. She should keep walking. She has 11 minutes now. Mr. Aldridge made his position clear. She's a thief, unwelcome, possibly about to be reported to immigration. Every instinct honed by months of survival says move toward the exit, disappear, protect yourself. But her grandmother's voice is louder. Daitina, we do not walk past suffering. Anya finds him collapsed against the wall, small body in dinosaur pajamas, skin burning with fever, eyes wide and unseeing. His monitoring equipment trails behind him like electronic umbilical cords, disconnected, useless. He's maybe 8, maybe dying. Hey, she says softly, crouching. Ukrainian first, then English. Hey, Malenki, I'm here. He doesn't respond. His breathing is all wrong, too fast, too shallow, panic feeding on itself. Anya knows she should run for help, call the medical team, find his father, follow protocol. Instead, she sits. She slides down the wall beside him, gathers his small burning body against hers, and begins to hum. The lullaby her grandmother sang in Kiev during the air raid sirens. Oi kodit son kolovakon, sleepwalks by the windows. Her voice is rough from exhaustion, but the melody holds. The boy's breathing stutters, changes. His rigid body softens incrementally. You are safe, she says quietly, rocking slightly. Ukrainian and English mixed, the words mattering less than the tone. I'm here. You're not alone. Breathe with me. Slow. That's good. Again. She doesn't know how long they sit there. 5 minutes 15, time measured in breaths rather than minutes. His fever burns through her uniform, but his panic recedes. His small hand finds hers and grips. My name is Anya, she whispers. What's yours? Silas. The word is barely audible. Silas, good. That's very good. Keep breathing, Silas, just like that. Footsteps pound down the corridor. A woman's voice calls urgently. Silas? Silas! And then a nurse appears, young and terrified. She freezes at the sight of them. I found him, Anya says simply. The nurse lunges for her radio. Medical emergency, main corridor junction, patient located. Get Dr. Patel here now. What happens next unfolds with the efficiency of disaster. More staff arriving, medical equipment, urgent consultations. Someone tries to take Silas from her arms, and his grip tightens painfully. No, he says, clear, absolute. She stays. Then, Philip Aldridge fills the hallway, breathing hard from the journey through his own house. His expression moves through confusion to recognition, to something Anya can't name. He stares at his son, calm, alert, holding the hand of the woman he destroyed less than an hour ago. Dr. Patel arrives, takes vitals, asks questions. His cortisol levels are normalizing, heart rate coming down. This is remarkable. What did you do? Nothing, Anya says honestly. I just sat with him. Philip is still staring. Silas looks up at him, then back at Anya, as if comparing. Please don't make her leave, Silas says to his father. The silence stretches like wire. At 3 a.m., Anya signs papers she doesn't fully understand. The attorney, summoned from sleep, rumpled and resentful, sits across from her at the kitchen table in staff quarters. Mr. Chen, the estate manager, witnesses with a face carved from disappointment. Philip Aldridge looms in the doorway, too large for the frame, watching. This is a non-disclosure agreement, the attorney explains, sliding pages toward her. You will not discuss this family, this household, or tonight's events with anyone. Violation results in immediate termination and legal action. Do you understand? Anya nods. She understands power when she sees it. This is your employment contract, probationary status, position, companion aide to Silas Aldridge. You'll follow all protocols established by his medical team. Any deviation, Results in immediate termination, Anya finishes. Yes. You'll be given a room in the staff wing, a uniform, an ID badge with restricted access. Your schedule will be provided by Mr. Chen. Questions? Anya has 1,000 questions. She asks none of them. Philip speaks for the first time since entering. Why didn't you call for help immediately? She looks at him directly. Would you want to be alone when you're frightened? Something flickers across his face. The attorney clears his throat pointedly. At 4 a.m., Anya is shown to a small room with a single bed, a desk, and a window overlooking the garden. It's more space than she's had since leaving Kiev. She sits on the bed, still tied, wearing her cleaning uniform, and allows herself 60 seconds of shaking. At 8 a.m., Mr. Chen wakes her. Ms. Kovalenko, your shift begins in 1 hour. I'll introduce you to Silas's care team. The medical wing operates like a small hospital, equipment everywhere, schedules posted, the antiseptic smell of controlled environment. Patricia Chen, no relation to Mr. Chen, the head nurse, regards Anya with the warmth of an audit. I've been with this family for 15 years, Patricia says. I was there when Silas was born. I was there when his mother died. I know what he needs. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what happened last night, and frankly, I don't care. This child has a serious medical condition requiring professional oversight. You are not a medical professional. You will not interfere with his care. Clear? Clear. The nutritionist, a thin woman with a clipboard, adds her own warnings about meal protocols. The physical therapist explains exercise limitations. The tutor outlines educational schedules. Everyone speaks about Silas as if he's a complex machine requiring expert maintenance. No one mentions that he's 8 years old and lonely. When they finally take her to Silas's room, Anya expects to find the boy from last night, the one who held her hand and asked her to stay. Instead, she finds a different child. Polite, withdrawn, sitting up in bed with perfect posture, responding to the nurse's questions with careful precision. Silas, this is Anya. She'll be spending time with you. He looks at her. Something flickers in his eyes, recognition, maybe relief, but his face remains neutral. Hello? Hello, Silas. Patricia continues briefing, but Anya barely hears. She's watching the boy watch her, this child who's learned to perform wellness for worried adults. When the medical team finally leaves them alone, Silas speaks quietly. I thought you'd be gone. So did I. But you're staying. Anya sits in the chair by the window, not too close, giving him space. For now. Good. He relaxes slightly. Everything hurts less when you're here. She doesn't know how to respond to that, so she reaches into her pocket and pulls out the small wooden egg she's been carrying since leaving her relative's house, one of her mother's, painted with sunflowers. Would you like to see something beautiful? She asks. Silas nods. She shows him the egg, explains Pisanki, the tradition of transforming something ordinary into art through patience and pattern. He listens with the intensity of someone starving for stories that have nothing to do with his body's betrayals. Can you teach me? He asks. Yes, Anya says. If you want to learn, I can teach you. On the monitor in Philip's office, he watches this exchange, watches his son lean forward with interest for the first time in months, watches the woman he fired sit with simple presence, offering nothing but her attention. He doesn't understand it, but he can't stop watching. Anya enters Silas's world, carrying nothing but a pillowcase and curiosity. The medical suite resembles a pediatric ICU more than a bedroom, monitors blinking their steady vigil, IV pole standing sentinel, medication cart organized with pharmaceutical precision. The walls are therapeutic beige, chosen by some consultant who believed neutrality promotes healing. Educational posters explain the immune system in cheerful cartoons. A shelf holds toys so pristine they've clearly never been touched. Silas sits propped against pillows, pale as the linens, watching her with careful eyes. Hello, she says, settling into the chair by the window without asking permission. Hello. Silence stretches between them, not uncomfortable, exploratory. Anya pulls embroidery supplies from her pillowcase, begins working on a pattern of sunflowers, yellow thread, green stems, the repetitive motion of needle through fabric. Silas watches. She doesn't explain, doesn't invite him to participate, just works. After 20 minutes, he speaks. What are you making? pillowcase. Why sunflowers? Because they turn toward light. She finishes a petal, starts another. Even when the sky is dark, they remember where the sun should be. He considers this, returns to his book, something approved by his tutor probably, but his eyes keep drifting toward her hands. The next day, Anya opens his curtains. Patricia appears instantly, horrified. Silas is photosensitive. Direct sunlight can trigger. The curtains stay open during my shifts, Anya says quietly. He can close his eyes if it hurts. This is completely inappropriate. The curtains stay open. After Patricia leaves, radiating disapproval, Silas whispers, I like the light. I know. Day 3, Anya brings wooden eggs and paint. Sets up at his table, not his bedside. Doesn't ask if he wants to join, just dips her brush in red, begins the careful work of pattern, lines that will become flowers, symbols that mean protection, hope, continuity. My grandmother taught me, she says when she catches him staring. In Ukraine, before. Before what? Before the world got loud. He understands somehow. Climbs out of bed carefully, trailing monitor wires, and sits across from her. Doesn't touch anything. Just watches her hands transform blank surfaces into something beautiful. Day 4, he asks, could I try? She slides an egg across the table, shows him how to hold the stylus, how to let the wax flow. His first attempts are shaky, imperfect. She doesn't correct them. Mistakes become part of the pattern, she says. Nothing is wasted. Philip watches this unfold on monitor 4, eating his breakfast of champions, 3,000 calories before 9 a.m. The woman moves through his son's space like water, flowing around obstacles, wearing down resistance through simple persistence. She doesn't perform entertainment, doesn't manufacture cheer. She just exists alongside Silas's suffering without trying to fix or flee from it. When lunch arrives, nutritionist's carefully calculated meal. Silas picks at it dutifully. Not hungry? Anya asks. It doesn't taste like anything. She considers this. What if I made something? Something my mama used to make. His face transforms. Really? If they let me use the kitchen, they won't. Maybe your father will. Silas looks doubtful. My father doesn't really. He watches from his office. He doesn't come here. He came here 2 nights ago. That was different. I was dying. The casual way he says this breaks something in Anya's chest, but she keeps her voice steady. You weren't dying. You were scared. Isn't that the same thing? No, Malenki. Being scared means you're still alive enough to feel it. That evening, during medication administration, Silas holds Anya's hand through the injection that always makes him nauseous. She hums the lullaby. His breathing stays even. Patricia documents this in her notes. Patient exhibited increased tolerance to evening medications with companion present. Unable to explain mechanism. Recommend continued observation. Philip reads the notes, watches the footage again. His son holding someone's hand. His son painting eggs. His son existing in his body without apology. He orders his assistant to compile every hour of security footage featuring Anya. Then he watches it all, searching for the trick, the performance, the angle. He finds only presence. The request comes through official channels. Mr. Chen delivering a formal message at 7 a.m. Ms. Kovalenko, Mr. Aldridge requests your presence in his office at 8:30. Anya's stomach drops. She's been here 11 days, long enough to relax slightly, to believe this might last. Now comes the reckoning. She arrives exactly on time. Philip sits behind his massive desk, backlit by monitors showing empty rooms. He doesn't stand. Silas wants to cook with you. Not a question. An accusation. Yes, sir. He specifically requested access to the main kitchen to make, Philip checks his notes, Vareniki, Ukrainian dumplings. Yes, sir. The main kitchen hasn't been used for anything except catered events in 3 years. It's not set up for, he gestures vaguely, domestic cooking. Anya says nothing. Explain to me why I should allow this. She meets his eyes. Your son wants to create something with his hands. Something that's not sterile or prescribed, something that's messy and alive. This is good for healing. Messy, Philip repeats. You want to introduce mess into his environment. Yes. You understand his immune system is compromised. Contamination risks are everywhere, always. Anya leans forward slightly. He lives in fear of his own body. Maybe if he uses his body to make something beautiful, he remembers it's not just a problem to solve. Philip stares at her. She's not performing deference. She's not manipulating. She's just stating truth as she understands it. One afternoon, he says finally. Supervised, staff present. Any sign of distress, we stop. Thank you. Don't make me regret this. The kitchen feels cavernous. Industrial equipment, marble counters, space designed for armies of caterers. Silas stands in the doorway, overwhelmed. It's too big, he whispers to Anya. We only need one small corner. She guides him to a prep station, sets out flour, potatoes, farmer's cheese. This is like painting eggs. You start with simple ingredients, you add patience, you make something whole. The physical therapist hovers nervously. The nutritionist takes notes. Mr. Chen observes from the doorway. Patricia watches like a hawk circling prey. Anya ignores them all. First, we make dough. She demonstrates. Flour, egg, water, salt. Your hands know what to do. Don't think, just feel. Silas plunges his hands into flour, laughs when it poofs into clouds, kneads the dough with increasing confidence, gets it everywhere. His shirt, his face, the counter, nobody stops him. For the filling, they mash potatoes together. Anya tells stories. Her grandmother's kitchen in Kyiv, making vareniki for Christmas, her brother stealing them hot from the pot. Do you miss them? Silas asks. Every breath. That's how I miss my mama. I know. They work in companionable silence, rolling dough, cutting circles, spooning filling, pinching edges. Silas's first attempts are lumpy disasters. Anya's are perfect crescents. They cook them together. When a dumpling explodes in boiling water, Silas giggles. The sound fills the kitchen like light. In his office, Philip watches monitor 11, his son, laughing, actually laughing. Flour in his hair, concentration on his face, pride when he successfully seals a dumpling. Philip's chest aches. That evening, Silas insists on bringing dumplings to his father. They arrive at Philip's office together. Small boy carrying a plate, young woman standing respectfully behind. I made these, Silas announces. Try one. Philip stares at the offerings, misshapen, imperfect, made with 8-year-old hands. He takes one, bites carefully. It tastes like something. It's good, he manages. Silas beams. Anya taught me. We're going to cook every week, right, Papa? Papa. He hasn't called him that in years. Yes, Philip hears himself say. Every week. They eat together in awkward silence. Philip at his desk, Silas in a chair, Anya standing until Philip gestures irritably for her to sit. The dumplings are honestly mediocre. Philip eats every one. After they leave, he sits in the dim office, surrounded by screens showing empty rooms, tasting the ghost of farmer's cheese and his son's joy. He opens his desk drawer, pulls out the folder his attorney prepared. Anya's background check, immigration status, the liability assessment, stares at it for a long time, then locks it away again. 3 weeks pass in gentle rituals. Philip watches from his monitors as his son transforms, shoulders loosening, laughter emerging, a child remembering how to inhabit joy. The metrics improve. Sleep cycles, normalizing. Inflammation markers dropping, weight stabilizing. Dr. Patel's notes use words like remarkable and unprecedented, but the data doesn't capture what Philip sees on screen. Silas teaching Anya a card game, Anya braiding Silas's hair while he paints, the two of them creating something that looks dangerously like family. Philip hasn't entered his son's wing in 2 years, 7 months, and 14 days. Not since the morning he stood in the doorway, 600 pounds of grief blocking the light, and saw Silas flinch. Now he makes himself press the intercom. I'm coming to visit. 1 hour. Silas's voice crackles back. Okay. Cautious, carefully neutral. The journey requires planning. Philip calls his physical therapist, who arrives with equipment. A reinforced walker, portable oxygen, strategies for managing stairs he can't climb. They settle on the freight elevator, wide enough for his bulk. Even so, the descent feels like descent in every sense. He arrives at Silas's door breathing hard, face flushed, body screaming. The room beyond holds sounds he doesn't recognize. Music, not medical equipment. Laughter. Philip knocks, waits, enters. Anya sits at the table with Silas, teaching him to braid wheat stalks. Diduch, she's explaining, a Ukrainian harvest tradition. Folk music plays from a small speaker. Sunflowers bloom on the windowsill. Silas looks up. His expression cycles through surprise, confusion, something that might be hope before settling into careful politeness. "Hi, Papa." Papa. The word lands like a stone. "What are you making?" Philip's voice comes out wrong, too formal, a CEO addressing subordinates rather than a father greeting his child. Silas holds up the braided wheat. It's for protection and abundance and remembering. It's beautiful. Silence expands between them, filling space that should hold 3 years of conversation. Anya rises quietly. "I'll give you time together." "No," Silas says quickly. Then to Philip, "Can she stay?" Philip sees it clearly. His son needs a buffer, someone to mediate the awkwardness of a father who's become a stranger. The realization burns. Of course. They sit. Philip in a reinforced chair Anya produces without comment. Silas returns to his braiding. Philip watches his son's hands, Elena's graceful fingers, his own methodical precision. He searches for something to say that won't sound like an interview. "Your doctor says you're doing better." "Yeah. The new medications?" "I guess." Silas doesn't mention Anya's cooking, the painting, the open windows. Doesn't mention anything that matters. They've learned to speak in metrics because Philip made metrics the only language he could bear. 20 minutes crawl past. Philip asks about schoolwork. Silas answers in careful sentences. They discuss the weather, the garden outside. Nothing real. Finally, Philip says what's true. "I don't know how to do this." Silas looks up. "Do what?" "Be here. With you." Without... Philip stops. Without Elena mediating. Without protocol protecting them from each other. Something shifts in Silas's face. "Me neither." Anya speaks softly. "Maybe start with small things. What did you do today that made you happy?" Silas considers. "We made vareniki. I didn't burn any." Philip attempts a smile. "That sounds like an accomplishment." "They were really good. We could make them again. You could help." The offer hangs in the air, fragile, costly, impossibly generous. "I'd like that," Philip manages. He stays 30 minutes more. It's exhausting in ways that have nothing to do with his body's struggle. When he finally retreats, Silas says, "Bye, Papa," without the careful flatness. That night, Philip watches the security footage from after he left. Silas asks Anya, "Why doesn't Daddy like being with me?" Anya's answer, "Your papa carries very heavy things. Sometimes people can only carry weight, not share it. This is not about you." Philip sits alone in his office, surrounded by empty rooms on empty screens, and understands that his son has been carrying the weight of his father's absence, believing himself too much, too broken, too costly to love. He orders the security company to compile every hour of footage, not to find Anya's mistakes, to learn how to be present from someone who knows how. The request comes during evening medications. Silas swallows his pills with Anya's homemade compote, then asks, "Can we make vareniki the real way, like your grandmother taught you?" Anya hesitates. The Wing's kitchenette can handle soup, simple meals. But vareniki, proper vareniki, require space, equipment, time. Require the main kitchen, silent for 3 years except when caterers invade. That's a big project, Malenki. "I want to make something that takes work, something that's not easy." She understands. He spent his whole life as the difficult project, wants to create difficulty instead of embodying it. "I'll ask permission." Mr. Chen's refusal is polite but absolute. "The main kitchen is not available for household use. Mr. Aldridge's protocols." "Our protocols," Anya finishes. "I understand." She doesn't understand. She's learning that wealthy grief operates by rules that make no sense to those who've survived by breaking them. That afternoon, she goes to Philip directly, finds him in his office, surrounded by monitors showing rooms where nobody lives. "Your son wants to cook with me, properly. We need the main kitchen." Philip doesn't look up from his screens. The kitchen isn't set up for making something beautiful? Anya keeps her voice level. For learning that effort matters? For discovering his hands can create, not just receive, treatment? Now he looks. This is about dumplings? This is about your son wanting to make something with his body that isn't illness. This is good for healing. Philip studies her, this refugee girl who speaks to billionaires without performing deference, who advocates for his son with a fierceness he can't remember directing at anything except his empire. One afternoon, supervised, any medical concerns, we stop immediately. Thank you. Don't make me regret this. The kitchen gleams with disuse, industrial space designed for armies of caterers, now echoing with emptiness. Silas stands in the doorway, overwhelmed. It's too big. We only need one corner. Anya guides him to a prep station, sets out ingredients, flour, potatoes, farmer's cheese, salt. Everything starts small. Patricia hovers like a nurse monitoring surgery. The physical therapist stations himself nearby. Even Dr. Patel arrives, ostensibly checking Silas's energy levels, but really curious about what this unconventional therapy might yield. Anya ignores them all. First, dough, flour, egg, water. Your hands know what to do. Silas plunges his hands in, laughs when flour clouds everywhere, kneads with increasing confidence, getting it on his shirt, his face, the counter. Nobody stops him. They work side by side, mashing potatoes, mixing filling, rolling dough into circles. Anya tells stories about her grandmother's Kiev kitchen, Christmas vareniki, her brother stealing them hot from the pot. Do you miss them? Silas asks. Every breath. That's how I miss Mama. I know. The comfortable silence of shared loss settles between them. When Silas's first dumpling explodes in boiling water, his giggle echoes through the cavernous space. Dr. Patel makes notes. Patricia frowns. Mr. Chen watches from the doorway with something that might be approval. In his office, Philip abandons spreadsheets for Monitor 11, his son, flour-covered and radiant, creating something imperfect and entirely his own. That evening, Silas insists on bringing a plate to his father. They eat together, Philip at his desk, Silas perched on the reinforced chair, Anya standing until Philip gestures impatiently for her to sit. The dumplings are honestly mediocre. Thick dough, under-seasoned filling. Philip eats every single one. I made those, Silas says with quiet pride. They're perfect, Philip lies, and means it. After they leave, Philip sits with the empty plate. The kitchen footage plays on loop. Then he pulls out the attorney's folder on Anya. Background check, immigration status, liability assessment. Stares at it, locks it away. Tomorrow he'll deal with consequences. Tonight, he tastes his son's joy and remembers that some hungers matter more than safety. Philip stares at the legal memo like it's a diagnosis of terminal illness. His corporate counsel, Janet Silverstein, sits across from him, her expression professionally neutral, her words surgically precise. Updated background checks flagged an issue. Ms. Kovalenko's student visa expired 4 months ago. She's currently in overstay status, which makes her undocumented. Her asylum application is pending, but given current backlogs and her case specifics, denial is likely. Philip's heart rate spikes. On Monitor 4, Anya teaches Silas to play a Ukrainian card game called Durak, their laughter filtering through the speakers. What are you recommending? Janet doesn't blink. Immediate termination. Report the overstay to avoid any appearance of harboring. We document everything, demonstrate compliance, protect the company from immigration law violations. She's been here 6 weeks. No one noticed? The previous check was surface level. After last year's embezzlement incident, I implemented quarterly deep dives on all household staff. This is standard risk mitigation. Risk mitigation. His son's joy reduced to liability exposure. What if we sponsor her? There are employment visas, extraordinary ability provisions. That creates a paper trail connecting you to her illegal status. It looks like you knowingly employed undocumented labor, which invites federal scrutiny. Given Cravia's regulatory environment and recent press about labor practices, we cannot afford that exposure. Philip watches the screen. Silas is explaining the game's rules with animation Philip hasn't seen in years. Anya listens like his words matter more than anything in the world. How long do I have? I recommend 72 hours, clean break, generous severance, ironclad NDA. We can even facilitate her departure, arrange transportation, help her family from a distance through anonymous channels, but she cannot remain employed here. After Janet leaves, Philip sits in darkness broken only by monitor glow. 12 screens showing 12 empty rooms and one showing the only room that's alive. He could let her go, protect his empire, his reputation, his carefully constructed walls. Silas would survive. He has before. The medical team would stabilize him. Life would return to its controlled misery, or he could choose differently. His phone rings. Dr. Patel, voice tight with professional concern. I need to discuss Silas's latest blood work, the improvements we've seen. I've been reviewing the data, and I think we need to consider psychological factors. The correlation between Ms. Kovalenko's presence and his inflammation markers is statistically significant. What are you saying? That whatever she's doing is working. I can't explain the mechanism, but the outcomes are undeniable. His body is healing because his nervous system is finely regulated. She's providing something no medication can. Philip ends the call, pulls up 6 weeks of security footage, watching in fast forward. Anya sitting quietly while Silas paints. Anya opening curtains despite Patricia's protests. Anya teaching him to braid wheat, cook dumplings, exist in his body without apology, never performing, never manipulating, just present. That evening, unaware of the threat circling, Anya teaches Silas Durak in his wing. Silas asks about her family. First time he's asked personal questions of any caregiver. She shares carefully. Her brother who loves football, her sister who draws, her mother who sings. Silas asks the question that pierces everything. When will you see them again? Anya's face reveals what words don't say, possibly never. You're alone too, Silas observes with child's clarity. Like us. Philip watches her turn away to hide tears. That night, alone with 12 glowing screens and one impossible choice, Philip Aldridge begins researching immigration law with the same obsessive focus he once applied to engineering human desire. This time, he's trying to engineer a different outcome. One where love doesn't require letting go. The call comes at 2:47 a.m., Patricia's voice tight with barely controlled panic cutting through Philip's fitful half-sleep. Silas's fever is 104.3 and climbing. Joint inflammation, possible organ involvement. Dr. Patel is on her way. We need to move him to the hospital now. Philip heaves himself upright, adrenaline overriding exhaustion. The journey to Silas's wing blurs. Freight elevator, endless corridors, his body screaming protests he ignores. He arrives to controlled chaos. Medical equipment everywhere, monitors shrieking alarms, Patricia directing staff with military efficiency. Silas in his bed, small body rigid with pain, eyes wide and unseeing. Silas! Philip approaches and his son flinches. The paramedics try to transfer him to the gurney. Silas fights, not with strength but with terror, pulling away from the hands trying to help. The trauma of hospitals where his mother died overwhelming every rational thought. Please, buddy, we need to get you to— No! The word rips from Silas's throat. No. Patricia attempts to restrain him gently. He thrashes harder. An IV line tears free. Blood blooms on white sheets. Where's Anya? Silas screams. She's not qualified to— Patricia begins. Get Anya! Philip sees it clearly, his son choosing, needing what medical expertise cannot provide. Someone get her, now! Patricia's face hardens. Mr. Aldridge, this is a medical emergency. We don't have time for I said get her. Philip's voice drops to something that makes even Patricia step back. Anya appears in the doorway, hair tangled from sleep, wearing an oversized t-shirt and sweatpants. Takes in the scene instantly. She doesn't ask permission. Walks past Patricia directly to Silas's bed, sits on the edge, begins humming the lullaby. I know you're scared, she says softly, Ukrainian and English mixed. I am here. I will not leave. Silas's thrashing doesn't stop immediately, but he recognizes her voice, lets her take his hand. The hospital is necessary, Malenki, but I can come with you. I will stay. You will not be alone. Dr. Patel arrives, assesses quickly, makes the call. We can administer IV meds here if we can keep him calm enough. If not, we have no choice but hospital admission with sedation. She looks at Anya. Can you keep him still? Yes. What follows is 2 hours of careful work. Dr. Patel administering medications while Anya holds Silas, humming, speaking quietly, her. Regulated nervous system slowly calming his dysregulated one. Philip watches, useless, as this 19-year-old refugee does what his money and expertise cannot. When the crisis finally passes, Silas sleeping peacefully with Anya still holding his hand, Patricia confronts Philip in the hallway. This is inappropriate attachment. When she leaves, and she will leave, he'll be devastated. You're setting him up for another loss he can't survive. Philip watches through the doorway, his son, peaceful. The woman whose presence is healing him, whose deportation is scheduled in 72 hours unless he acts. Patricia is right about one thing. Anya will be taken away, unless Philip chooses vulnerability over safety. Dr. Patel approaches, chart in hand. His vitals are stabilizing. I've been documenting the correlation between Ms. Kovalenko's presence and his regulatory capacity. This is beyond placebo effect. His body responds to her at a physiological level. Can you put that in writing? Of course. Why? Philip stares at the impossible choice that's become inevitable. His empire or his son, his fortress or his family, control or connection. Because I'm going to need expert testimony for an immigration case. Philip Aldridge makes his first public appearance in 3 years, wearing a suit tailored to accommodate 80 fewer pounds. The journey from car to courthouse steps leaves him winded, but he walks without assistance. Cameras flash, reporters shout questions he doesn't answer. Inside, the immigration hearing room smells like institutional coffee and desperation. Anya sits at the respondent's table, small and impossibly young beside attorneys Philip hired, the kind who charge hourly rates that could feed her family for months. The government attorney is efficient, clinical. Ms. Kovalenko overstayed her visa by 4 months. She worked without authorization. Mr. Aldridge employed her knowing her status was questionable. This looks like exploitation masquerading as rescue. Philip watches Anya's face remain carefully neutral. She's learned to disappear in rooms full of powerful people making decisions about her life. The immigration judge, a woman in her 60s with reading glasses and weary eyes, studies the medical documentation. Dr. Patel's testimony was thorough. Correlation charts showing Silas's inflammation markers dropping, cortisol levels normalizing, sleep cycles regulating, all corresponding to Anya's presence. This is extraordinary, the judge observes, but I'm not convinced it rises to the level of medical necessity for immigration purposes. Philip's attorney stands. Your Honor, we'd like to call Mr. Aldridge to testify. Philip heaves himself upright. The walk to the witness stand feels longer than his 3-year isolation. He's sworn in, sits carefully in a chair that wasn't designed for bodies like his. Mr. Aldridge, explain why Ms. Kovalenko's presence is essential to your son's care. Philip has rehearsed this. Practiced answers that sound rational, defendable, strategic. Instead, what comes out is truth. My wife died 3 years ago from an eating disorder I tried to control into submission. I built an empire engineering appetite, making people hungry for things that never satisfy. After Elena died, I ate myself into a fortress. Made isolation feel like safety. Turned my son's illness into something manageable through protocols and surveillance. The courtroom is silent, except for the court reporter's keys clicking. Anya didn't try to fix us. She just stayed. She sat with my son's pain without running from it. She opened windows I'd sealed. She cooked food that tasted like care instead of calculation. She taught him that broken people can still make dumplings. That vulnerability isn't the same as dying. Philip's voice cracks. He doesn't try to hide it. I'm a billionaire. I can hire the best doctors, the most qualified therapists, the entire medical establishment. But none of them could give my son what he actually needed, someone who wasn't afraid of him, someone whose own survival taught her that presence matters more than perfection. He looks directly at the judge. If you deport her, he'll survive. The medical team will stabilize him. But he'll learn again that love is temporary, that attachment is dangerous, that needing someone makes you weak. And I can't... Philip stops, breathes. I can't teach him differently. Not yet. I'm still learning it myself. The judge removes her glasses. Mr. Aldridge, are you aware that your testimony suggests you've been using Ms. Kovalenko's precarious immigration status to ensure her continued presence? No, Your Honor. I'm using my wealth and influence, which I've spent 3 years weaponizing against vulnerability, to protect someone who's been protecting us. The government attorney objects. Philip's team counters. Legal arguments wash over him like background noise. He's done what he came to do, chosen visibility over safety, exposure over control, his son over his empire. The judge calls a recess. Philip makes the long walk back to his seat, past reporters, past strangers witnessing his unmaking. Anya meets his eyes across the courtroom, mouths 2 words. Thank you. He nods, waits, hopes he's built something stronger than fortress walls. The verdict comes 3 days later, delivered via official letter that arrives at the estate while Silas paints eggs at his table and Anya braids his hair. Philip reads it twice, calls his attorney to confirm he's understanding correctly, then makes the journey to Silas's wing, no longer the ordeal it once was, though still requiring rest halfway. Anya can stay, he announces from the doorway. Silas looks up, paint-covered hands suspended mid-air. Really? Really. Asylum granted based on credible fear of return. Immigration status adjusted based on extraordinary circumstances. Conditions include proof of genuine employment with fair wages, educational requirements, and family services evaluation. Anya sets down the braid she's working. Her hands shake slightly, the first time Philip has seen her composure crack. The judge wants to ensure appropriate boundaries, Philip continues. Make sure you're not being exploited, that this household is actually healthy for you. Is it? Anya asks quietly. Philip considers the question honestly. 3 years ago, this house was a mausoleum. Now it's messy and alive. Windows open, music playing, food that smells like care rather than calculation. It's getting there. The press coverage is immediate and polarizing. Billionaire chooses son over empire, reads one headline. Immigration system bent for the wealthy, reads another. The story goes viral. Philip's testimony, the medical documentation, the image of a tech food mogul advocating publicly for an undocumented teenager. His board demands he resign as CEO. Stock prices crater. Advocacy groups debate whether his case sets dangerous precedent or demonstrates necessary humanity. Conservative outlets call it exploitation. Progressive outlets call it complicated. Everyone has opinions about a family they don't understand. Philip reads none of it. Instead, he focuses on smaller victories. Silas's inflammation markers holding steady, Anya enrolling in community college courses, the 3 of them establishing Sunday dinner as sacred ritual, cooking together, sharing stories, Elena's memory woven naturally into conversation. 6 months pass in gentle transformation. Philip continues therapy, continues medically supervised weight loss, continues the harder work of learning to be present. The estate converts from medical facility to actual home. Silas's wing becomes just a bedroom, monitoring equipment stored for emergencies rather than constant surveillance. Patricia stays, though her role shifts from medical authority to part of a larger care team. She and Anya develop cautious respect, 2 women who love Silas differently, learning to collaborate rather than compete. Dr. Patel visits weekly, documenting the ongoing miracle of a child healing through connection. Her research paper on the relationship between nervous system regulation and inflammatory conditions will cite Silas's case as pivotal evidence. Mr. Chen relaxes household protocols. Light and mess and laughter return to rooms that had forgotten them. Philip discovers that dismantling a fortress is harder than building one. Every opened window requires choice. Every shared meal demands vulnerability. Every conversation with his son means sitting with the years of distance between them. But slowly, brick by brick, protocol by protocol, the walls come down. On Sunday evening, 1 year after Anya was caught stealing discarded food, they gather in the kitchen Philip once sealed. Anya's mother, Olena, has recently arrived through family reunification, adding her stories to their table. They're making veroniki together, flour everywhere, Silas teaching, his grandmother's technique to his grandmother's namesake. Philip watches these women weaving connection through food, through patience, through presence. Thank you, he says quietly to Anya, for teaching us that the opposite of hunger isn't fullness. She smiles. What is it? Silas answers before Philip can. Sharing the table. The immigration courtroom smells like burnt coffee and desperation. Philip shifts in a reinforced chair bolted to the gallery floor, his body still protesting public exposure after 3 years of isolation. Reporters fill half the benches. His testimony went viral within hours. The billionaire who chose vulnerability over empire. Anya sits at the respondent table, spine straight, hands folded. She's wearing the simple dress Olena sent from Lviv, navy blue with embroidered sunflowers at the collar. 19 years old, facing deportation, carrying herself with the dignity of someone who survived worse. The government attorney is efficient, assembling her case like evidence at a crime scene. Ms. Kovalenko overstayed her student visa by 4 months. She worked without authorization for 6 weeks before Mr. Aldridge, she glances meaningfully at Philip, discovered her status. This employment relationship raises questions about exploitation rather than humanitarian concern. Philip's attorney counters with medical documentation, Dr. Patel's charts showing the correlation between Anya's presence and Silas's healing. Inflammation markers dropping, sleep cycles normalizing, a child's body finally believing it's safe enough to repair itself. The immigration judge removes her reading glasses, studies Anya directly. Ms. Kovalenko, do you understand the seriousness of immigration violations? Yes, Your Honor. Anya's voice carries the slight accent that makes English sound like music. I understand law. I also understand survival. Explain. My father died defending our city. My mother shelters in basement with my brother and sister while missiles fall. I send every dollar so they can eat. Sometimes survival requires breaking rules made by people who've never been hungry. The judge's expression doesn't shift, but something flickers behind her eyes. Recognition, perhaps. The universal language of mothers protecting children. The medical testimony is compelling, she continues, but I need to understand the nature of this relationship. Mr. Aldridge approached the bench. Philip rises with effort, the walk feeling longer than his years of isolation. He's sworn in, settles carefully into the witness chair designed for bodies half his size. You've built an empire on food science, the judge observes. Engineering appetite, creating cravings. Now you're advocating for someone you initially fired for eating discarded food. Help me understand the transformation. Philip has rehearsed this, prepared clinical answers about his son's medical needs, the documented therapeutic benefits, the extraordinary circumstances, requiring extraordinary measures. What emerges instead is truth stripped bare. I spent 3 years eating myself into a fortress, turned my son's illness into something I could manage through surveillance and protocol, fired a starving girl for taking garbage because her hunger reminded me of my wife's starvation, my failure to save her. His voice cracks. Anya didn't try to fix us. She just stayed. She sat with pain I'd been running from. She taught my son that broken people can still make dumplings, that vulnerability isn't the same as dying. The courtroom is silent, except for the court reporter's steady keystrokes. If you deport her, Your Honor, my son will survive. The medical team will stabilize him. But he'll learn again that attachment is dangerous, that needing someone makes you weak. Philip meets the judge's eyes. I can hire the best professionals money can buy, but none of them could give him what he actually needed. Someone whose own survival taught her that presence matters more than perfection. The judge calls a recess. Philip makes the long walk back to his seat, past reporters documenting his unmaking, past strangers witnessing 3 years of grief finally spoken aloud. Anya turns slightly, mouths 2 words, "Thank you." He nods, waits, hopes that vulnerability might prove stronger than fortress walls. The ruling arrives via certified mail 3 days later, delivered to the estate while Philip sits in Silas's room, no longer a medical suite, just a bedroom with sunlight and painted eggs lining the windowsill. Asylum granted based on credible fear of return to Ukraine, Philip reads aloud. Immigration status adjusted to asylee with pathway to permanent residency, conditions, proof of genuine employment with fair wages, enrollment in educational programs, family services evaluation to ensure appropriate household boundaries. Silas looks up from the pisanka he's decorating, paint-covered fingers suspended mid-stroke. She can stay? She can stay. The sound Silas makes, half laugh, half sob, echoes through a house that's learning to hold emotion again. Anya appears in the doorway, summoned by Silas's cry. Her face remains carefully neutral, 19 years of survival teaching her not to trust good news until it's verified 3 times over. The judge said yes, Philip tells her. You're safe. She sits abruptly on the nearest chair, hands pressed to her mouth, the first crack in her composure Philip has witnessed. Tears slide between her fingers, silent, profound, 3 years of terror finally exhaled. "My family," she manages. "The reunification petition, already filed. My attorney started the process yesterday." The press coverage is immediate and polarizing. Conservative outlets decry preferential treatment for the wealthy. Progressive voices debate whether the case demonstrates systemic inequality or necessary humanity. Everyone has opinions about a family they don't understand. Philip reads none of it. Instead, he focuses on smaller transformations. The board accepting his resignation as CEO with transparent relief. Stock prices stabilizing after initial panic. Cravia Technologies announcing a new nonprofit division redesigning products for nutrition rather than addiction. His empire repurposed toward repair. 6 months pass in gentle reformation. Philip continues medically supervised treatment, down 120 pounds, learning to inhabit his body as something other than armor. The estate converts from medical facility to actual home, monitoring equipment stored in closets, windows open, music drifting through rooms that had forgotten how to breathe. Silas attends a special school program part-time, making friends who know him as the kid obsessed with Ukrainian folk art rather than the patient defined by his condition. His inflammation markers hold steady, not cured, but managing, living instead of just surviving. Anya enrolls at community college, studying early childhood development. She lives in the converted guest house, proper employee now with legal status and fair wages. But most evenings find her in the main house anyway, teaching Silas new techniques, cooking with Olena, who arrived last month, crying in the airport terminal when she saw her daughter's face, weaving family from people who chose each other. Patricia remains. Her role evolved from medical authority to collaborative care. She and Anya developed cautious respect, two women who love Silas differently, learning to work together rather than compete. Dr. Patel visits weekly, documenting the ongoing miracle for her research on nervous system regulation and healing. "You're rewriting medical understanding," she tells Philip one afternoon, proving that connection isn't supplemental to treatment, it is treatment. Sunday dinners become sacred ritual. They gather in the kitchen, Philip once sealed. Flour everywhere, 3 pots going simultaneously, Olena teaching everyone Ukrainian toasts, while Silas translates with increasing fluency. Tonight, 1 year after Anya was caught stealing garbage, they prepare a feast. Vareniki and borscht, Philip's attempted cornbread, burnt edges, perfect center, Silas's fusion dumplings filled with combinations no tradition would recognize. The table holds mismatched chairs, chipped plates, laughter that sounds like light returning to abandoned rooms. Philip watches these women and his son weaving connection through food, through patience, through the simple radical act of staying. His empire has crumbled into something smaller and infinitely more valuable. "Papa?" Silas asks through a mouthful of dumpling. "What's the opposite of hungry?" Philip considers. A year ago he would have said full. Would have believed satisfaction came from consumption, from having enough armor between himself and the world. Now he understands differently. "Sharing the table," he answers. Anya smiles. Olena raises her glass, and in a house that almost died from isolation, family blooms in the space between letting go and holding on. The anniversary arrives on a Sunday. 1 year since Anya was caught eating garbage over a trash can. 1 year since Silas collapsed into her arms. 1 year since everything broke open. The kitchen gleams with controlled chaos. 3 pots simmer simultaneously. Borscht bubbling ruby red, Vareniki water at rolling boil. Philip's attempted cornbread filling the air with burnt edge sweetness. Flour dusts every surface like blessing or forgiveness. Olena stands at the counter, her hands moving through dough with the muscle memory of 50 years. She arrived 3 months ago through family reunification, stepped off the plane and wept in the terminal when she saw Anya's face. Now she's teaching everyone the proper pinch and fold technique, correcting Silas's enthusiastic but imprecise attempts. "Like this, Malenki," she demonstrates, "you must seal the edges or all the love leaks out." Silas giggles, flour in his hair, paint still under his fingernails from the morning's egg decorating session. He's wearing the embroidered shirt Olena brought from Lviv, blue and yellow threading at the collar, symbols of protection and home. His inflammation markers have been stable for 6 months, not cured. Dr. Patel reminds them at every appointment that autoimmune conditions don't disappear, but managed, living instead of just surviving. Philip works at the opposite counter, moving with the careful deliberation of someone still learning his transformed body. 140 pounds lighter, though the number matters less than the space he's created. Room to breathe, to bend, to reach across tables without armor between himself and the world. He's making Elena's mother's recipe. The one thing she taught him before the eating disorder consumed her capacity to share food without fear. Honey cake, dense and dark, sweetness earned through patience rather than engineering. "Papa, you're supposed to fold, not stir," Silas calls across the kitchen. "I'm folding." "That's stirring." Philip catches Anya's eye. She's braiding bread dough, creating the twisted loaf that represents family bonds. Her smile holds everything. The garbage she ate, the boy she saved, the choice Philip made to fight for her rather than surrender to his fortress. "Let him stir," Anya says. "Some rules are meant for breaking." The table they've set holds mismatched chairs, proper dining seats mixed with the reinforced one Philip still needs, the child-sized chair Silas insists on keeping from when he was 5. Plates don't match. Silverware is borrowed from 3 different sets. Elena's favorite tablecloth, the one with wine stains from happier dinners, covers imperfections. Dr. Patel arrives first, bearing flowers and research papers. She's been documenting Silas's case for a study on nervous system regulation and healing. "You're rewriting medical textbooks," she tells them whenever she visits. Patricia arrives next, hurry tea. Relationship with Anya evolved from antagonist to cautious ally. She brings medical supplies, emergency kit for Silas just in case, but stays for dinner because she's been invited, because she's part of this strange reconstructed family. Mr. Chen appears with his adult daughter, whom Silas immediately befriends. The household staff who've witnessed the transformation drift in, not servants tonight, but guests. They gather around the table. Elena leads a Ukrainian blessing Philip doesn't understand but feels in his chest. They pass platters, vareniki and borscht, cornbread and honey cake, Silas's fusion dumplings filled with combinations no tradition would recognize. Conversation braids together like Anya's bread. Stories about Elena flow naturally now, woven into the evening rather than sealed behind walls. Silas tells his new friend about his mother's paintings. Philip shares the story of their first date, how Elena ordered dessert before dinner, daring him to understand joy before logic. The food tastes like care instead of calculation, like communion rather than consumption. When the meal ends, plates empty, laughter echoing through rooms that forgot how to breathe, Silas presents his gift. A pisanka he's been painting in secret, its surface covered with symbols, sunflowers for growth, wheat for abundance, the latter connecting earth and heaven. "Anya taught me," he explains, "that we paint eggs to remember beautiful things can come from being broken open." Philip takes the egg carefully, studies the intricate patterns his son created, this child who survived not despite breaking, but because of it. "Thank you," he says, and means it for everything.